I bought all of the best affordable alternatives to expensive sneakers to find out if they're actually any good. And as we go through each one, I'm gonna rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being save your money, the affordable one is better, and 1 being it's just not good enough. Kicking us off, we have the Nike City sneaker as an affordable alternative to the Tom Sachs general purpose shoe. Visually, I'd say these two are practically identical. The Nike City only recently released, and according to Nike's description of them on their website, they say that it's built for the rugged terrain of the city. It's durable and built to last, which sounds pretty familiar to the Tom Sachs general purpose sneaker. I mean, literally in the name, general purpose, that's what that one was built for. Now, the unfortunate thing about the general purpose sneaker from the Tom Sachs collaboration is that it no longer exists. It might in the future. Nike just announced that they are going to be partnering with Tom Sachs again, but this comes after the very controversial ending of the collaboration because of all of the allegations against Tom Sachs. So we're gonna have to wait and see how that one actually plays out. Either way, the Nike City sneaker retails for just $100, and when it comes to the general purpose shoe for Tom Sachs, well, some are more expensive than others. You only really have 3 different colorways to choose from. Those are the only 3 that released. Generally speaking, for the original colorway, you're looking at anywhere between $250 and $300 for that pair on the aftermarket. The Nike City has a ton of different colorways to choose from, and I assume they're only gonna have more and more as time goes on. On foot, both of these shoes feel very similar because I guess they were designed almost as a replacement to the general purpose shoe. Somehow they're a lot more comfortable than you would imagine this pair of shoes just based off of the looks. They both have an extremely rugged outsole built to last and are covered in suede and nylon overlays for the upper. Overall, with how close the Nike City shoe is to the general purpose shoe, and with the sheer amount of colorway options that you have with the Nike City, not to mention the fact that they're just $100, I'm giving the Nike City a 10 out of 10. I'd buy these over the Tom Sachs. But next up, we have a sneaker that kind of went viral for being the at-home version of a pair of Travis Scott's. This is the Nike Killshot 2 that retails for just $90 and is an affordable alternative to the $1,000 Jordan 1 Travis Scott Black Phantom. Now, this one might take a little bit more squinting to really make them look identical, but they are definitely similar. And I bet from afar, if you see someone wearing these things, you might second guess and think they are actually Travis Scott's. Now, they're not nearly as one-to-one as the Tom Sachs and the Nike City because, well, for one, you're getting much more inferior materials on the Killshot 2. This is entirely made of a very synthetic feeling leather material, kind of reminds me a lot of the Nike Panda Dunk. Travis Scott's, on the other hand, are made with very premium suede all over the upper. But visually, the all-black base color with the white stitching moving across the entire upper definitely makes them look very similar, bar the reverse swoosh, of course. They also surprisingly feel pretty similar on foot. Again, these are 2 very retro styles of Nike and Jordan brand products. The Jordan ones definitely have a little bit more cushion thanks to the air zoom units underneath or built into the midsole. These are pretty flat and just have a solid rubber outsole. I actually think that these are a pretty good alternative just because of how ridiculously expensive those Travis Scott sneakers are. Spending $1,000 on sneakers is something I could never really recommend, but it's not like you're going to be fooling anybody wearing these things to make them think that you're wearing Travis Scott sneakers. Like the colorway of the Black Phantoms and you're a fan of the retro style, I think these are a good option. I'm giving them a 7 out of 10. But let's stay with Travis Scott for a minute because this is definitely not the first time Jordan brand has tried to make a pair of shoes look exactly like a super hyped up sneaker. And this time they did it with the Nike SB Force 58. It retails for just $80 and is an affordable alternative to the insanely expensive $2,000 Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low reverse mocha. Now this one's pretty interesting because this SB Force is cheaper than the Killshot 2, but it does have better materials. It comes with suede all over the upper, which actually feels quite nice. And comparing them directly to the Travis Scotts, you can see why people think that they look the same. They both have sail or off-white overlays mixed with that contrasting brown color. The Travis Scotts are slightly lighter in both the brown color and the sail color. It's almost a white. Now, you've also got a mini red Nike swoosh, which I really like, and that also matches all of the accent colors that come with the Travis Scott, like the red on the tongue and the Travis Scott logo around the back. On foot, they're actually pretty different considering that this is an SB, meaning skateboarding, so they have a lot more padding around the ankle area and the tongue. It's just a little bit more puffy, so they do feel pretty comfortable. I wouldn't necessarily say more comfortable than the Jordan ones, but pretty similar. Now again, spending $2,000 on a pair of shoes is a pretty crazy thing to do. But these do have more differences to the expensive versions than the Killshot and the Phantoms did. So if you like the unique colors of the reverse mocha mochas and want something pretty similar, I'll give these a 6 out of 10. Now let's take a quick break from Nike and Jordan and move over to something pretty unique from Adidas. This is the Adidas XLG runner as an affordable alternative to the $1,000 Balenciaga 3XL sneaker. This one's a little bit different because the XLG runner from Adidas is actually a little bit harder to find. They released out in Asia a while ago earlier this year, but haven't had a full global release yet. The design is based off of this Climacool 3.0 shoe. As you can see, it shares a very similar midsole and overall design, and as the name implies, XLG is for extra large, so they just beefed it up a ton. And the XLG range from Adidas is something they've been doing for a while now. They have it on Sambas and Superstars and a lot of other heritage models. But looking at the Adidas sneaker and the Balenciaga side by side, there's nothing you can tell me to make me believe that Adidas is not trying to rip off Balenciaga here. It's like right after Adidas did the collaboration with Balenciaga, they brought home some notes to their place and started cooking up some of them Balenciaga designs. The XLG runner, like a lot of Balenciaga shoes, has that comically large design. It's got the distressing or the worn out look. It even has the laces wrapping underneath the shoe, which is something that Balenciaga does on the 3XL. Either way, like I said, the XLG runner from Adidas is a little bit harder to find unless you're in Asia, in which case you can buy them directly from Adidas. They retail for roughly $150, but for right now, if you're not in Asia, you're going to be looking towards different resale platforms like Sneaker Dunk and Kicks Crew for about $200. As far as an affordable alternative, it's actually pretty solid because it's not like they're trying to replicate one-to-one what Balenciaga did, but it definitely has that Balenciaga look. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Next up, we have a pretty hilarious one. It's the Crocs Hydra boot as an affordable alternative to the Balenciaga $1,000 Croc boot. Now, granted, this is a pretty niche pair of shoes, but the Balenciaga Crocs did get pretty popular a couple years ago for the sheer amount of celebrities that were wearing them, mainly Kanye West, who just couldn't take those things off. The Crocs Hydra boot, on the other hand, is still made by Crocs and retails for just $100, or I paid 90 pounds. These are still a little bit hard to find. They are brand new, so they haven't really released globally yet. But this is a really interesting one because Crocs was involved in the design of both the Balenciagas and their own one. It seems like Crocs releasing these things now is definitely them trying to bring something to the market which people can actually afford as an alternative to the Balenciagas. They feel very, very similar on foot. When I had the Balenciaga boots, they have that soft upper, which is very movable, so they're kind of comfortable for what they are. Both of them are made out of 100% rubber and foam in the midsole, so it's not like you're getting more premium materials with the Balenciagas or anything. They're identical. They both have the tall stacked midsole. The Hydra boot, on the other hand, comes with a handle, which I have no idea why. I don't know, maybe it's for chugging or something like that, but they got that, the Balenciagas don't. Overall, I think this is a no-brainer affordable alternative to those Balenciagas. This style of shoe is definitely a trend that if it's not already over now, it probably will be. And as the trend dies, you would much rather regret a purchase of a $90, $100 pair of shoes rather than a $1,000 pair of Balenciagas. Either way, I'm definitely giving these a 10 out of 10. Don't buy the Balencis, buy these. Next up, we got an affordable alternative made by the exact same brand. It's the $150 Jordan 4 RM as an affordable alternative to the $215 pair of Jordan 4s. The RM was only recently released this year with a Nigel Sylvester collaboration. This is the anthracite colorway, but you now have a ton of different GR colorways to choose from, and one of the most interesting things about this pair of shoes is the colorways that Jordan Brand is deciding to put on them. They're taking a lot of these hyped up colorways that exist on regular Jordan 4s and then throwing them on the RMs. We've got the Black Cat 4s and we're going to be getting the Pine Green 4s. And I'm sure we'll get a bunch more in the near future. Now, the issue with this alternative is the fact that you can't really replace a pair of Jordan 4s. Such an iconic model, and at the end of the day, a lot of people are not buying a pair of Jordan 4s just because of the shoe itself. They're buying into the history and all of the cultural moments that that pair of shoes had. Especially some of the retro colorways that Michael Jordan actually wore, like the Breads or the White Cements. Those just cannot be easily replaced. They're part of people's childhood memories from growing up and seeing people wear those shoes. But on the other hand, if you do look at them as just like straight up shoe for shoe, well, they do have a lot of similarities. Both share the exact same midsole and a lot of the paneling on the upper. The RMs are actually, in my opinion, a lot more comfortable, especially because of all of the padding that they've beefed up around the ankle area. The lower cut design also adds to that, and the Jordan 4s are an extra $65, but of course that's if you can actually get them for retail. Most of them are a lot more expensive because they're all sold out and reselling. So overall, I do think this is a really solid solid, affordable alternative to the Jordan 4s. But considering that the history and the storytelling behind the Jordan 4s is just so powerful, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Next, we have the Jordan 1 Mocha as an affordable alternative to the Jordan 1 Mocha High. Now, this one is such a no-brainer, I thought it kind of goes without saying, but I definitely wanted to add it in nevertheless. You can pick up a pair of Jordan 1 Low Mochas for retail or maybe just slightly above, and the highs on the other hand are a lot more expensive. But not only that, because they released in 2020 and infamously became one of the most faked sneakers on the planet, there's a lot of fakes swirling the market, so they're a lot harder to buy a real pair of. Now, the lows are literally identical in every single way. The materials, the feel of them, they're obviously a Jordan 1. Everything except for obviously the height. And maybe when it comes to your dating profile, taller equals better, but not here. Here, short kings have won. I can't honestly really think of any reason why you would go out and buy the highs over the lows unless you're a die-hard Jordan 1 high fan. So for that, I'm giving the Mocha lows a solid 10 out of 10. But there you have it, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment section, and if there was any affordable alternatives that I missed out with this list. And if you want to check out another video, just click that one right over there.